Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today on this Friday evening? How you doing?
I'm always happy on a Friday.
Of course.
I'm glad the smoke has dissipated so we can go outside and play.
Yeah,
some basketball.
It's pretty rough the past week or so with the Canadian wildfires raging on, making our air, 24 hours in New York air is the equivalent of smoking 6 cigarettes.
Pretty bad.
It's pretty brutal, but thankfully we are back to normal, so we will see how that does. Baseball got suspended as well. The Yankees couldn't play. Mets still got curb stomped in their series. They actually choked yesterday against, I don't know who were they playing, the Braves, if I'm not mistaken. They lost pretty badly in that one. Crushing defeat, but let's talk about the main topic today, because Game 4 of the NBA Finals resumes today. Let's talk about Wednesday's game, however, which is Game 3. It's pretty interesting. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are the first teammates in NBA history to have 30-point triple-doubles within the same game as teammates, and Nikola Jokic is the first player in NBA Finals history to have a 30-point, 20-rebound, 10-assist triple-double, which is quite impressive, as the Nuggets scored 15, beat the Heat by 15 to take Game 3 away. So I don't know, are you surprised by the Nuggets' dominant 15-point win in Game 3?
I figured they'd win at least one game in Miami. So I guess I'm not that surprised. I'm a little surprised that they dominated as much as they did, and that the Miami didn't have a better plan for Jokic and Murray. I mean, they know they're the two best players. They're the ones that always make the difference in terms of winning and losing. So I was surprised they didn't have a better plan for them. You look at the rest of the players on the Nuggets; none of them really had much of a game except Christian Braun off the bench. Right, 19 points and 19 minutes, 15 points. So, Porter hasn't been playing well. He only had 2 points in this game. They kind of benched him in favor of a Braun. So, I think that the two triple doubles with 30 points scored by each player is a pretty amazing feat. You look at Murray's points, 34 points. He had more points than the four role players for Miami. Gabe Vincent only had 7. Strus only had 3. Duncan Robinson 9, and Martin had 10. That's 29 points.
Right. And
Murray outscored those 4 players. He had 34. Miami's got to do a better job with the role players. They just didn't. They have to play much better than this. Jimmy Butler had 28 and Bam had 22. They actually did their jobs, and Bam had 17 rebounds. It's not too shabby. So it's these other players, they just didn't step up. They have to play much better in order for Miami to do better. You look at some of the other stats. The rebounds, Denver dominated. They had 25 more rebounds.
Yeah.
Right? 25 more rebounds. They had 8 more assists. They had 2 more blocks. They had 4 less personal fouls. It's easy to see why they won by 15 points.
Right. I was surprised because the Heat didn't turn the ball over. They had 4 turnovers.
Yeah. They
had less than a fourth of, or a third of the Nuggets turnovers. The Nuggets turned the ball over more than 3 times the Heat did.
Yeah.
And they still won by 15.
Oh, that's the rebounds, man. 25.
Yeah.
25 rebounds. The Heat shot better from three-point land, too. They had 18 more points than Denver on the three-pointers. But it's just Denver got more shot opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had... actually, they didn't. Miami had 92 shot attempts. Shot attempts, and Denver only had 80. It's just their percentage was much higher on the regular field goals,
which is interesting.
51 versus 37.
The Nuggets didn't rely on the 3. They took 18 3-point shots. 18, which was what?
They only hit 5 of them.
Only hit 5 of them. 27% from 3, if you want to round up 28% from 3. They the shocking thing was the 25 rebounds, the plus minus on the rebounds, 25 in favor of the Nuggets.
Oh, Jokic.
Once again, though,
21 rebounds.
That's
and Murray,
incredible.
10 rebounds. He's a guard.
Yeah. No, that was surprising.
That is bad defense on the part of Miami.
Yeah,
right?
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, What's fascinating about this is that throughout this entire playoffs, every team that has won Game 3 has won the series. So that should get Heat fans a little bit shaken in their boots, because every single team that's won Game 3 has won the series.
And the Nuggets lost the last 3 at home.
Yeah, no, that's the shocking thing.
Yeah.
However, we're going to get into who we think will win tonight at the end of the show. I will say this about, first of all, incredible feat for Jokic and Murray to each have 30-point triple-doubles, first time in NBA history, regular season and postseason that's happened. Jokic, there's no comp to what Jokic does. 30 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. It's incredible. There's no comp to Nikola Jokic probably in NBA history, because no one has been able to do what Jokic has done at the efficiency that Jokic has done it. There have been players like Giannis who have very similar play styles to him, except, once again, Jokic doesn't really have a deficit in his game. He could shoot threes, he could shoot regular jump shots, he could play down low, he can make his free throws. He plays pretty good defense. The only thing you could say that is a real deficit to Jokic's game is his lateral quickness. If you have a very fast guard or fast player, they can get around Jokic with somewhat of ease. Yeah. That's the only minus and only downside to Jokic's game.
I've never seen a player that have such good stats and be such a smart player out there and look so awkward doing it.
Yeah.
He does not look like a basketball player. His shot is awkward. His physical physique doesn't look much like a basketball player. He doesn't look like he's very fast out there.
Right.
He's just huge. He's huge and he's smart.
Yeah.
And his shot goes in. You know? Yeah. He can hit a 3-pointer, and when he's close to the basket, he hardly ever misses.
Yeah. No, it's incredible to watch. It's surprising just how much the Nuggets dominated in this game when one of their main pieces to that team, Michael Porter Jr., made his first basket in the paint with 6 minutes left in the first quarter and then proceeded to miss his next 6 shots. He went 1 of 7 on the game. He did have 7 rebounds, but he got replaced by a 6th man, Bruce Brown. That was it. And then Christian Braun, incredibly efficient. 15 points in 19 minutes. He only missed 1 shot. He shot 7 of 8. Hell, it got so bad, the Heat decided to put in Udonis Haslem, who's 42 years old. He's the oldest player to enter a finals in NBA history. He's like 42 years old. The shock, actually, I don't think we should be shocked by this, because the shots that weren't falling for Jamal Murray in Game 2, fell for him in Game 3. Like, every time the Heat took a lead or made it seem interesting, it would be Jamal Murray hitting a 3, Aaron Gordon driving and getting a dunk, sort of suppressing whatever hype that may be growing on the Heat side. I mean, Bam, once again, same thing as Game 1. Bam had a great game. If I told you Bam and Butler were combined for 50 points and 19 rebounds, you'd be like, okay, that's pretty good. I think the Heat either kept it close or they either kept it close and lost, or won by a slim margin. No, they lost by 15 points. I mean, this is incredible to watch. Now, I think it's going to be interesting tonight how the Heat come out and execute, because I think it's important to see, how the energy level is, because the Heat play their best when their backs are up against the wall. And they've sort of had that, loser's mentality where it's everyone's counting against us, no one's picking us. And I think Jimmy Butler said after Game 2, or I guess after Game 3, we thought we'd done something. And I guess that's why they maybe got complacent and then were able to lose by 15 points. But they actually didn't play that dumb a basketball. Like I said, they didn't commit stupid turnovers. They were very, very close in fouls. They had 4 more fouls, but it's not, this drastic foul disparity. I just think, honestly, the Nuggets are just a well-executed team. Because once again, KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope did not have a great game. He had an okay game, didn't shoot the ball well at all. Aaron Gordon, 50%, 5 of 10 from the floor. I mean, they're just doing their jobs. I mean, the Heat out here, the players that I expected to step up and have stepped up throughout the playoffs were nowhere to be found in Game 3. Max Strus, 1 of 7.
He's been horrible in this series.
He's been bad. Caleb Martin was a little bit better, 4 of 9. He's been having problems. He's
been nothing like he was in the Celtics series.
Yeah, Kevin Love hit 2 threes, and Gabe Vincent, who I thought was a crucial piece in the Celtics series.
He's inconsistent.
He shot 2 of 10. So it was pretty rough for the Heat this side in this game. So, I mean, what do they do moving forward? That's the big question. Tonight's game is going to be a big indicator of whether or not the Heat can pull this off. Because I think if the Heat go down 3-1, I think this game it ends in Denver. I think Denver closes out in 5. But we'll talk about that later on. I just can't believe so like honestly, this was a 2-man game. That's all. It was a 2-man game with a hint of Christian Braun.
It's rare that a team makes it to the finals and has so much success so far, anyway, in the finals with really just two star players.
Right.
Generally, there's at least 3 star players on a team that's going to win the championship, right?
Right.
And this team is different than that. They have just these 2 guys really are the 2 stars. The other guys are all role players in my mind.
Right.
And they're getting it done with just 2 superstars.
Yeah.
Right. And why the Heat can't manage to slow them down a little bit is a little bit beyond me. They know these 2 guys are the difference in the game. So can't they slow them down a little bit? Jimmy Butler was talking about it after the game. He said, we got to find a way to slow those guys down.
Yeah. And the question is, because you don't have the size or the game 2. This I think this is what the Heat have to do in order to win, and I'm going to talk about this later on the show. The reason why they're able to take game 2, they were playing much bigger bully ball than they did in game 3. They were playing super physical, and in this game, they did not show up with the same physicality that they did in game 2. I mean, you have nobody that could consistently guard Nikola Jokic. You don't. So the big question, and Steve Kerr said this. Do I still have the paper here? I hope I do. Steve Kerr said this on the Draymond Green podcast. I don't think I have it in front of me. He said the key for the Heat is to not worry about Jokic. Let him score however many points he wants. The key is to stop Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, as Steve Kerr said, is the head of the snake. And I brought this up on the Harvey Hour Fired Up on Wednesday. It's the same thing the Celtics did with the Bucks in order to win that series. Let Giannis score 40. Let him score 45. I don't care. Don't let Chris Middleton get going. Don't let Drew Holiday get going. Don't let Brook Lopez hit some threes. Don't let the other players get going, so when Giannis puts up 40, you don't have the rest of the team matching or beating Giannis out in points. You have to let your team control the tempo. And right now, the Nuggets are getting whatever hell they want. Jamal Murray, shoot a 30-foot three. Sure. Shoot a step back. Sure.
Maybe they should... in game 2, they managed to control Murray a little bit better, and Jokic was the one that went off, right?
Yeah,
he had 41
points. Yeah,
and the Heat won. And generally, when Jokic scores 40 points, they don't win.
They have not won a game in the playoffs.
They don't win. So why can't they?
When he scores 40
what was their strategy? Generally, Spoelstra does a much better job here.
Right.
He should have been trying to stop one of them. He should have been trying to stop Murray.
That's the key, is to stop Murray. And the reporter asked Eric Spoelstra about that. Is the key here to let Jokic score? And then Eric Spoelstra got on this, he seemed, mad about the question. He said that's an untrained eye's opinion. And then Steve Kerr, who has 7, 9 I don't know how many, I think he has 9 championships. He comes out and says, no, that's exactly what you have to do. Which is interesting because I don't think Steve Kerr is an untrained eye, and he agrees with what the reporter said.
Yeah, well, probably Spoelstra was frustrated by losing the game.
Could be, but we have tangible proof that is a way to success. Slow down
Murray.
Slow
down Murray.
Slow down the rest of the team. Don't let your other stars get going.
The other guys aren't that great to begin with.
No,
they really aren't. I think that they, you don't have to double team any of them.
No, not at all. Michael Porter has had a terrible series so far. You don't have to worry about him.
Gordon is okay.
Gordon's is somewhat good. KCP is all right.
Braun came out of nowhere to score 15. He probably won't do that again.
He's putting in a lot of effort. I think Malone likes the amount of effort he puts in. Extremely efficient though. 19 minutes, he scores 15 points. And has 4 rebounds to go along with it. That's the thing, is to slow down Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's the one hitting the late game shots. He's the one out there.
How do you let a point guard have 10 rebounds?
Hey,
that is
lack of effort on the Heat and a lot of effort from Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's a lack of effort on one side and a lot of effort on the other, which is quite interesting. I got to say this, though. The points in the paint, Nuggets 60, Heat 34. A huge disparity there. Second chance points, the Heat got doubled, 14-7. Fast break points, they tied, which was surprising. The Nuggets had more opportunities, though. They shot 5 of 10 on fast break. The Heat shot 3 of 4 on the fast break. So it's going to be interesting. The Heat only led by 5 at some point in this game. The Nuggets led by as much as 21 points.
No, they control the game.
Absolutely. Once again, when this game gets to like 10 points or so with 4 minutes remaining, against the Nuggets, I don't feel the same type of nervousness as I do when the Heat were against the Celtics. Because the Celtics know for blowing leads. The Nuggets, I feel like Nikola Jokic steps up, Jamal Murray steps up, Aaron Gordon plays great defense. Aaron Gordon being a defender so far in the series has worked wonders for them, and I expected that going into the series. I thought Aaron Gordon would do a great job against Jimmy Butler. But here's the thing. Jimmy Butler did lead this game, or at least for the Heat, led his team in points. He still hasn't had a takeover game. Yes, he did lead his team in points, almost had 30 points. But he didn't just say, hey, this is my game, let me take it. And late in the game just starts exploding. He just played really good basketball, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, well, the other players, they didn't step up. 4 of them together only had 29 points. Murray had 34 by himself. That was the difference.
I want to talk about Jimmy Butler's
Gabe Vincent, only 7 points.
And that was bad.
And Strus, 3 points.
I expected more from Gabe Vincent because he has been a great piece for the Heat so far in these playoffs. But we'll see. Game 4 tonight, 8:30 on ABC. We will break that down for you guys on Monday to see what happens. Actually, the series may be over, I believe. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Game 4 is tonight. Game 5, I think, maybe on Sunday.
I'm sure it's on Sunday.
So the series may be over when we get back on the Harvey Hour over the weekend break. Maybe. We will see.
We haven't talked about tonight's game yet.
Right. We haven't talked off camera about who we're picking. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in tonight's game. Let's get into our next topic. So a report came out yesterday, the day before, saying that originally Chris Paul was expected to be waived by the Phoenix Suns. Then when nothing was official and Chris Paul didn't hit the open market, there were more reports saying that now Chris Paul and the Suns are discussing Chris Paul's potential future with the team, but he also could end up still being waived. So I want to know, what do you think is the best option for Chris Paul going into next season?
I think that for him, probably staying with the Suns is probably the best option for him because they have what appears to be a really good team. I think they need to make some adjustments there, and they need a full season and a preseason with Kevin Durant playing with those other players to get more acclimated. I think the best solution for the Suns, though, is to waive him and try to re-sign him maybe. But they can't pay him $30 million salary.
Right.
They won't be able to pick up anybody else, and they need to do something there because I don't know, that chemistry of that team seems a little messed up, and Chris Paul I don't think is worth $30.8 million anymore, right? I mean, his defense is poor this year. Is scoring 13, almost about 14 points a game. Nothing's too special. He got injured again in the playoffs. He couldn't play much in the playoffs. That's not good. So, if they waive him, the cap hit is $3.2 million versus letting him play and giving him a $30.8 million salary. Given all of that, I think he's going to get waived. So, when it's all said and done, though, you brought up that the Suns could waive him and then re-sign him at a lower deal. Do you think do you think he's going to remain on the Suns going into next season, or do you think some other team will pick him up? Well, that's the thing. Is he looking for a championship? He has never gotten one yet, right?
Nope.
Or is he looking for a payday? Because I'm sure he can go out and find more pay than he'll be getting with the Suns. So if they waive him and he decides to go elsewhere because he wants to get paid, then he won't be with the Suns next year because somebody's going to give him more than the Suns will give him, I think.
I'm going to disagree with you on the fact that I don't think his market is that big. He's going to be 37, 38 years old, injury prone. In the playoffs, there's some bad juju vibes when he's in the playoffs. He can never win a title, no matter how good his team is. They were up 2-0 against the Bucks. You lose 4 straight, so you lose in 6 against the Bucks. There's something weird and maybe some black magic going on with Chris Paul and his chances at a championship. I honestly think, and I'm not saying this because I picked them this year to potentially win the NBA Finals, the best option for Chris Paul and for this team he should go to the Boston Celtics. Because for 2 straight years, the one major flaw, besides consistent performance from Jason Tatum, has been a true point guard. They don't have a distributor. You have Jason Tatum, who's better as a spot-up shooter. Jaylen Brown, who has the handles of a 6-year-old. You have Marcus Smart, who's defensive and can hit an occasional 3. Al Horford, who, while yes, he's still somewhat quick when he's defending, he can't really move up and down the court all the time. And Robert Williams, who seems to be injury-prone consistently year after year. They don't have someone who could push the ball or push the tempo. Chris Paul, there's no bad culture with Chris Paul. And that's maybe something the Celtics need. Jaylen Brown has had issues with the culture of the Celtics. Well, he seemed upset 2 years ago when they were planning on trading him for KD. He didn't like that. He didn't like Ime Udoka's coaching system. He thought he was too hard, maybe. He said this year he didn't like
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, yeah. He didn't like the fans. The fans in Boston was a whole issue. So that there were a lot of instances where Jaylen Brown didn't love the team he was on. You bring Chris Paul. There has never been, a toxic culture when talking about Chris Paul. No matter what team he's on, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Suns, New Orleans, when he was with at the time, was it the New Orleans Hornets, if I'm not mistaken? Something like that.
New Orleans Jazz, right?
No, that's the Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz.
He wasn't on the Jazz. He was on I think he was on the Hornets when they used to wear those blue and yellow pinstripe jerseys.
He's been on a lot of teams.
But we've never heard of a toxic culture with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Even with a bunch of personalities on the team. You had James Harden, who went to strip clubs every single night in Houston. He had Russell Westbrook, I'm pretty sure, at the time. He also went to OKC as well. I mean, you've never heard of a bad... Yes, well, Chris Paul may be considered slightly a dirty player. The culture that he was in was never a talk. It wasn't like a Brooklyn situation where everyone wanted to get out of Dodge. You bring him in, he's still considered the point guard. He can get you the 10, 12 assists you might be looking for when he's healthy. You need a true point guard, and here's the thing. Trade Marcus Smart. You have plenty of defense on that team. Plenty of defense. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Robert Williams. You have Malcolm Brogdon, who can hit shots and play decent defense. You bring in Chris Paul, who's not a great defender, he can hit an occasional shot, but is not a true shooter, but can give you that distribution that the Celtics have been looking for the past 2 years. My bet would be go to the Celtics, pay him. However, you bring up a good point about the $30 million a year. If you're paying Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown each a total of $613 million, you're not going to be able to bring in a player who's worth $30+ million.
Well, that's where Chris Paul would have to make a decision about, am I going for a championship or am I going for a payday? Because with the Celtics, he would have a chance to get deep into the playoffs again.
Right.
I would think. And he might be willing to take a little bit less money for that. I also think if he went to the Celtics and they hung on to basically the team that they have and added him, then he wouldn't have to play that many minutes, right? You have Malcolm Brogdon, who is a point guard, and you have Marcus Smart. And I would not trade Marcus Smart. I think that the Celtics need to pick up their defense next year. That was a problem for them this past year. They did not play the best defense, and Smart is noted as a defensive player. He's been picked as one of the top. He won Defensive
Player of the Year, I think, last year, the year before.
Last year, and he needs to. He can pick that up. He didn't play as good a defense this past year as he did the year before. He needs to pick that up and be the focal point for the defense. So I think they should hang on to him. But I do agree with you. Chris Paul to the Celtics would be a plus for the Celtics and for him. It's a money thing. It's all about money. Whether they can make it work for the money.
I think I was thinking about this earlier today. Another potential landing spot that I don't know how well it will work, but it's interesting nonetheless, is the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know how well that will work because you need more shooters and a better defense for the Mavericks. Because Luka will give you damn near a triple-double every night. We know that. But it's the amount of weapons. The whole thing for the past 3-4 years has been, Luka needs weapons. Luka needs weapons. Is Chris Paul that weapon that you need? I'm not sure about that.
I don't think so.
I think the key is to get bigger
it's as good
with
a
the Mavericks.
fit. I think the Celtics are a better fit than Dallas for Chris Paul.
If you had to trade,
Luka Doncic is really a point guard.
Yes, no, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
He's a point forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and he likes to handle the ball. They need pieces around Doncic, bigger guys that are good defensive players and they can hit a few shots. Rather than a point guard, I think, at Dallas. I think they need to get rid of Kyrie Irving. I would get rid of him.
Kyrie's going to be gone, trust me. If the Suns retain him for whatever dollar amount it is, and if they were still opening to trading him, do you think, and it was required, it would be Marcus Smart, second round pick, and some role players, however many role players you want to add, or whoever you may want to add. But Marcus Smart was that key piece. Would you do that trade?
I would not do that trade. I think that Chris Paul's 37 years old.
Right.
Marcus Smart's in his prime. I would not trade Marcus Smart for Chris Paul.
Fair, but be honest. If Chris Paul was on that team, would you think the Celtics could maybe get over that hump they had the prior 2 years where they didn't really have a distributor? Because it was Jason Tatum bringing up Jaylen Brown.
I don't think that
we saw in Game 7. Jaylen Brown had 8 turnovers. He couldn't hand the ball.
Yeah, well, I don't think that Chris Paul can be a 40-minute player every game the next season. They're going to have to measure his minutes and keep him healthy.
Right.
He has these injury problems, and he's getting old. So I think you got to save him for the playoffs, and you got to hope that he can stay healthy in the playoffs, which he's had a problem with, and use him, not sparingly, but use him smartly, no pun intended, in the regular season.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. Chris Paul, it's hard to see a scenario where Chris Paul and the Suns, he stays with the Suns when KD, Booker, and Paul are all making over $30 million a year.
$116 million between those three players.
It's ridiculous because guess what? The problem this season was you had no depth. It was KD, it was Devin Booker, and it was Chris Paul got hurt. Ayton's 1 foot out the door, it seems, and he was very, very soft in that Nuggets series. He couldn't do anything. So you need depth. Outside of KD and Booker, you had nobody.
You're going to have a hard time adding depth. You're going to have a hard time adding depth.
You got to get rid of Ayton. You got to get rid of Paul. You got to let them go because then that gives you more money to spend on other pieces.
I think that Paul is either you trade him now or if you waive him, you might not get anything for him.
That's true.
So better to try to trade him right now then before you waive him.
Yeah, no, I do think that would be interesting.
Might be a little early in the season here for next year to be trading him.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Other teams probably are thinking about what they're going to do. They haven't made those decisions yet.
Plus, we got the draft coming up soon as well. So I think it's going to be interesting what the Suns do. Chris Paul potentially out as the as the Suns point guard.
He's been on a lot of different teams.
He has been.
Yeah.
Has been. And once again, no toxicity anywhere to be found. Just say that. If you need a culture builder.
No, he's good to have.
Bingo. He's a veteran leader. He's considered the point guard. Gives you the distribution. I mean, how many boxes that check off for the Celtics? I mean, a lot of them. A lot of them. So we'll see what happens with the Chris Paul situation moving forward. All right, coming up, should the Warriors break up their core and look to the future? Steph Curry comments on that, and also who wins tonight, which is Game 4 of the NBA Finals, the Nuggets or the Heat. We break all that down right after this.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic. I found this pretty interesting from Steph Curry. So he said on The Athletic recently that, well, first off, the Warriors are supposedly undergoing comprehensive team evaluation in this offseason to sort of rebuild their culture, which is quite interesting. But it seems like Curry does not agree with the way the Warriors may be going, because on The Athletic, there's a report out saying that Steph Curry wants the Warriors core to stay together at least one more season, the core being Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Now, this is quite interesting because recently, about a week and a half ago, the GM of the Warriors, who brought this team together and won 4 championships, he decided to step down. Bob Myers has stepped down from the Warriors. He said that he was no longer in a position to dedicate the time and the energy that it would take to continue this team, which is quite interesting. Now Steph Curry is saying that, oh yeah, by the way, one more year with this team. Did Bob Myers want to move off some players? Maybe. So I want to know, what do you think the best direction for the Warriors is going forward? Where do you think they should go?
I think they should trade Draymond Green.
That's it. Just Draymond Green.
Yep.
Why do you think that?
Because I think he broke their trust in each other and their camaraderie and their good harmony when he punched Jordan Poole in last October before the season even began.
Okay.
And I think that they're going through a big in-depth analysis right now, and that's come up as a big reason why they played so poorly on the road this year. Winning on the road requires trust, and they didn't have it between them. Winning on the road requires harmony. It requires being together on the road, doing things together, being friends, being comrades. They didn't have it. And I think that that punch in the face of Jordan Poole last October was a big reason why. And I think it's time for Draymond Green to go.
While I agree with you on the premise of Draymond Green is looking for, what was it, a max contract going into this offseason, I believe he has a player option this season that he could say no to and then look for a lot of money. It's once again, it's a concept of what's his market. I don't think a lot of teams see value in Draymond Green.
I have a place for him to go.
Okay, where does he go?
I'm sending him to the Suns for Ayton.
Ooh, but then again, the Suns won't have size.
Kevin Durant is plenty tall enough.
Yeah, but he's as thin as paper.
Yeah, but Draymond Green is he's a bully under the boards.
I'll give you that.
Even though he's only 6'6". I think that would be a good move. I think that would give the Suns an injection of enthusiasm and toughness and physicality that you get with Draymond Green, and it would give the Warriors a chance to rebuild the trust and the culture of friendship and harmony that they need to win on the road with Ayton.
Interesting. I'm going to take it from this. I don't hate the idea of bringing the band back together because this is all on Steph Curry's timeline. I think that's been well documented now. Everything will go once Steph Curry retires. When Steph Curry's gone, the Warriors are going to be a 20-win basketball team. They will have no future. And you know what? The Warriors are perfectly fine with that because they're allowing this to happen. They're keeping Andre Iguodala. They're keeping Kevon Looney. They're keeping Draymond Green. They're keeping Klay Thompson. They moved off Wiseman. They didn't play Jonathan Kuminga in the playoffs really at all. They seemingly have lost trust in Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole does not seem happy to be there. It seems like Steve Kerr sided with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry over the younger players. So for me personally, I'm perfectly fine with Curry saying, yeah, let's bring the band back together for at least one more year. And hell, truthfully, Klay Thompson is where I'm a little bit afraid of how many more years he has left. Draymond Green, he is a offensive liability for the past couple seasons now. But his upside is he's a catalyst, meaning he could push the ball up and down the court. That's a major part of that. He sets great screens for Curry. The high pick, Curry goes around him, shoots the three. That's where they sell all their money. That's where all the money's being made from Curry right now over the past few years as well. Also, another part of Draymond Green's entire career with the Warriors is he now, over the past couple of years at least, but especially recently, has the ability to guard positions 1 to 5. He could do that. He can guard your center. He can guard your power forward. He can guard your small forward and the rest of your guards. He could do that. And that's something that maybe other teams don't value as much or don't understand that's Draymond, or how to fit Draymond Green's play style in their own system.
No. The other thing he has is he distributes the ball well. He generally has 6, 7, 8 assists a game.
Right.
So that's something you don't normally get from a power forward.
Right. No, I agree. The only problem is Draymond Green would be a great player if he just doubled his points. Right now he's averaging 8.5 points.
No,
7
that's because
rebounds,
he's
and 7
focusing more
assists.
on passing the ball. His assist numbers have gone up a lot.
Right. Well,
So that's worth points too.
No, I mean, I agree with that. But Draymond Green, I guarantee you, if Draymond Green turned down his player option, and if his points were doubled, meaning he had like 19 points a game, 17 points a game, I guarantee you there would be a big market for him.
Yeah, you know what?
Because he could score better.
I think you're probably right. They're going to keep the core three together because that's what Curry wants.
Yeah.
But I think it guarantees they won't win a championship. I don't think they're going to win a championship anymore. Those guys are getting older, and they have that issue. They'll probably get rid of Poole. That's probably what's going to happen. They're gonna trade him and
put him in a LeBron trade.
Yeah.
Put LeBron, put Wiggins, Anthony Lamb.
They'll be
Moses
those guys
Moody.
will be out there in wheelchairs. They're so old. They have the oldest team in the league. They do that.
But you also have 4 of, you have a great defensive player from Draymond Green. You have LeBron, who's the greatest basketball player ever. Curry, the greatest shooter of ever. And then you have Klay Thompson, arguably the second best shooter of all time. So you have the greatest tandem of shooters in NBA history.
We're getting quite old.
They are getting quite old. But I honestly think Curry, the way he looks, if he stays healthy, could have 5 great years left. 3 great years, 2 good years.
He's one player.
Correct.
The rest of those guys around him, they need another piece.
They do.
They need to do something.
You need size.
I don't think you can trade Jordan Poole and get the kind of player that you need to really make the difference.
Which makes
if you're going after
Ayton
LeBron
trade
James, if you're going after LeBron James, you're going to have to give up quite a bit. You have to give up Wiggins for sure.
Yeah.
Right? You'd have to give him up and Poole and maybe one other player, right? We talked
Probably
about
a first-round pick as well.
Yeah,
no, we have talked about it. Which, the interesting thing is, the problem that I saw from the very beginning is the Warriors are a very small basketball team. Very, very small. So your Draymond Green for DeAndre Ayton makes a little bit of sense, but I still think Ayton is a very soft center. He's not some sort of center that could have these great games. Now, maybe in a, I'm going to say, because I think it's fine, in a better culture, I think the Warriors culture is better than the Suns culture right now, especially with a new head coach. I think the Suns, the new owner, they have a new owner as well. So the Suns right now are starting to build they need to build a culture. Ayton right now, the Suns hired Frank Vogel, who just won a championship with the Lakers back in 2020, which is interesting to say. I don't think he'll be able to get Ayton and to buy into this culture. I think Ayton is one step out the door. So your Draymond Green for DeAndre Ayton thing is pretty interesting, because it does give the Warriors some size, and I think if Steve Kerr gets Ayton to believe in the culture like he did with Wiggins, I think Ayton could perform, maybe have,
but
17,
that's not
18
what
points
Curry
a game,
wants.
10
That's
rebounds.
not what Curry wants, and at the end of the day, they're probably going to do what he wants.
I agree
He's
with
the
that.
face of the franchise, the baby-faced assassin.
Yeah. So I think, they can't. I think if you really decide to undergo a comprehensive evaluation of the team and then realize that it's culture over players and they are going to go off Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, I mean,
I don't think they go off both of them in 1 year, right?
One or the other. would that not be a very Bill Belichickian thing to do? Believe in the culture over the individual star? I mean, and it doesn't work. It does not work. Greg Popovich, he's never fully adapted the three-point shot. His team has been at the bottom ever since Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker. When they all left, the team plummeted.
Well, that doesn't. It's not surprising. Those guys are all superstars.
Right, but no one really buys into it, and Greg Popovich does not embrace the way the NBA is now. Think about what every NFL team is doing right now. Shoving all talent offense, wide receivers, running backs, offensive line, quarterbacks sometimes. Belichick's like, yeah, let's go draft fullbacks, guards, kickers, punters, and defensive ends. It doesn't make sense. So if honestly, if you want to buy into the culture, at least you have to buy into the players, because right now the NBA is a very player-run league.
What you need is the extremely good players who have the culture that you want to build, that are buy into the culture you want to build. And that's what you got to have.
You need to be a very, very high basketball IQ player to play in that Warriors system. James Wiseman didn't have it. He was gone. Now, he actually played pretty well when I believe he's on the Pistons. He actually ended the season pretty well. But on the Warriors, he wasn't used and wasn't that great. Jonathan Kuminga, did he not buy in? Was he not living up to the standard that the Warriors said? He didn't get played in the playoffs, really. Jordan Poole seems very, very frustrated right now. Curry, Clay, Draymond tried to talk to him. He brushed him off.
I can understand why he brushed off Green. He punched him in the mouth.
I agree with there, but Curry walking up to him, Clay saying, "Hey, what's going? Like, we gotta do this. And he just brushing on like that's weird." So,
well, what about the coaching of the Warriors? What's your thought
Steve
there?
Kerr? Right now, he's probably a top 3 coach in the NBA right now.
You think he's the one that can fix the culture? I think that's what they're counting on.
They're
definitely counting on him to be the one.
I definitely think so.
And he admits there's a trust issue there.
Well, he finally came out in his postseason conference and said, "Yeah, that punch screwed us up. The punch lost trust in the players, lost trust in the system. So one of them got to go." And I think the way the Warriors are looking, and if Curry's coming out and saying this, according to The Athletic, he wants the core together, expect Jordan Poole in New Jersey next year.
Yeah. It's interesting that the Warriors, in their championship seasons, on the road, they had a 727% winning percentage, right? That's the best in NBA history. It's even better than the Bulls in the years that they won 6 NBA championships.
Right.
So,
even last
green
year
hitting
too?
pool.
No,
that was something that would really rock that team.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we reacted to it on the show. We thought this gonna.
We showed the film of it.
Yeah, no, we showed it, and I think if I didn't,
we commented on it all year long as a reason why they weren't winning on the road, and now they admit it.
I mean, they started off, what was it, 0-7 on the road, and I couldn't put my finger on what the hell's going on. Mm-hmm. That they just can't win games. They choke leads and just can't get it together. Well, Steve Kerr said, yeah, it was probably the punch that screwed us up. And here's the thing, he finally came out and said it in his postseason conference. Instead of addressing it and then moving forward, he decided to say at the end of the year. Like, I don't get that. You got to address the problem straight up.
I think he should have done that earlier on. They should have stopped things right there and had some team meetings about that and see if they could sort it out before the season even started. And instead, it festered, and it became a reason for them not making it this year.
Yeah, no, it was definitely strange to see that the timing of everything, which is interesting nonetheless. All right, let's get into our last topic. So tonight, the NBA Finals resume. Game 4, the Nuggets are up 2-1 in the series. The Heat are once again at home in this 2-game home stretch so far. They lost the first game, which was back on Wednesday. We discussed that earlier on in the show. The Nuggets are favored by 3.5 in ESPN. I'll bring it up very quickly. ESPN has them favored percentage-wise. The Nuggets are 71.2% chance to win in tonight's game.
It's pretty high.
It's pretty high. It's been high the entire time. So I want to know who wins tonight, Nuggets or the Heat?
I'm picking Miami tonight.
Why do you pick Miami?
Because Miami plays really well with their backs against the wall, and they've lost 3 at home in a row here, and I don't think they're going to lose 4 in a row. I think they're going to win tonight.
I thought you'd take the bait and say 3 in a row, they're going to turn it around, or they... I thought you said they're going to lay down and just take it, losing game.
That's not Miami. Miami's not that way. They play their best when their backs against the wall. And they have to view this game tonight as backs against the wall against a team as good as the Nuggets. They cannot go down 3-1. They got to make it 2-2.
And here's the thing. I was hoping we could disagree, but I can't because I think Miami is going to win tonight's game as well. And it's for this reason. Game 4 is Jimmy Butler's game. I'm pretty sure I got this correct. Every single game 4 Jimmy Butler's been in, he's led his team in scoring, and he also had the 56-point game in the first series against the Bucks in Game 4 as well. And by the way, you said, oh yeah, he scored 28, but no one else could do anything. I think the highest scorer in that Game 4 had like 18 points. So it was Jimmy Butler 56, everyone else 18 or below.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure he's getting 56 tonight.
I agree.
But I think he'll have a great game, and I think the role players will come back too, because when the backs are against the wall, those role players have played well, and they're capable of playing well. Gabe Vincent, he's had games where he had almost 30 points. Caleb Martin in the last game against the Celtics had 26 points. So Strus can shoot the three when he's on, and Duncan Robinson has some spurts where he plays really well too. So I think those guys are going to be on tonight. I think Bam will have his rebounds and then shots in the paint. And I think Jimmy Butler they're going to play well tonight because they have to. They know they got to win.
I'm putting this game on Jimmy Butler. This is a Jimmy Butler or bust game, and this is why. I'm going to bring up the numbers here. This is Jimmy Butler in Game 4s in the playoffs so far. He's averaging almost 40 points a game, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and has 55% field goal percentage. So Jimmy Butler shows up in Game 4 so far in the playoffs. So this will be a Jimmy Butler game. If Jimmy Butler does not perform, I guarantee you the Nuggets are going to take this game. I don't care if Bam has 25 points and 18 rebounds. We've seen that in 2 games so far this series where they've lost. And that's because Jimmy Butler didn't show up for Game 1. I think he had, 18 points, 13 points, something like that. And in Game 3, he actually led the team in scoring. The rest of the players couldn't perform. This is a Jimmy Butler game. I still have yet to see playoff Jimmy emerge. Where is he? Game 4 will be the game I think we'll see the mythical creature as in playoff Jimmy Butler, and we will see just what happens. I will take the Miami Heat, and since, we do this occasionally, point spread is now -3. It got updated. I will take Miami to win and cover the +3 point spread. I obviously you agree as well.
Win.
I think Miami will win a close game. I will go 114 to 110. I think goes down to the wire. It goes down to the very, very wire. I think maybe Jamal Murray tries to hit a 3 to try to close the gap.
Generally when the Heat win these games, they're shooting well from three-point land.
Right.
So that's going to be on these role players to hit those three-point shots. And I agree, Jimmy Butler's going to have a better game than we've been seeing from him, even though the last game was pretty good, 28 points.
Right.
But I do think that those role players will step up tonight.
I will say this. The Nuggets don't do well on the road. Their regular season road record was 19-22. The Heat, 27-14.
On the road?
The Miami Heat at home was 27-14. Nuggets on the road were 19-22. So, the Nuggets just came out on the road and won by 15 points. So, I'm putting this on Jimmy Butler. I'm still waiting to see that this creature people are telling me about. Playoff Jimmy. We saw it in this first series. We haven't seen it since. Is he gassed? Did we only see it once a year? Is it like a solar eclipse? Who knows? I've yet to see it, but I will pick the Heat. This is a Jimmy Butler game. I think Jimmy Butler's stat line will be, I can't remember the last time he had 30 points, but I'll give him 32 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists.
Wow.
He makes 5 threes.
Yeah, and how about Murray?
He doesn't shoot threes that much, but I think he'll make 5
I think
threes.
they'll have a plan for Murray tonight as well. I don't think he's going to score 34 points tonight.
I agree. I don't think he's scoring 34 either.
They may have low 20s. That's
Both
thinking.
of them?
No, I think they'll Jokic will have a big night, but the other players they'll control, and particularly Murray.
Jamal Murray's low 20s, you say?
Yeah, low 20s. I don't think
that may not be enough for the Heat. You got to get him into the teens.
I don't think he's going to have 10 assists either, or 10 rebounds. Come on, how does a point guard have 10 rebounds?
That's a great
question. Those are things they can fix. I think they're capable of doing it. They did it in Game 2, so they should be able to do it again.
Yeah,
I think holding Jokic down is not the key to winning. It really hasn't been the key to win. right?
Yeah.
When he scores 41 or more, they lose every time. So give him his points, control the other guys, and which is really, I think, doable, particularly when you really only have to focus closely on Murray, because the other guys, I don't know how they got this far with these other guys. They're no big names there, and they've proven it. The game in the last game, game 3, didn't have anybody that really scored much except Braun, who came out of nowhere, and probably is not going to do that again.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We both have the Heat winning game 4. We will see. Maybe the series will be over if the Nuggets win. We'll have to see.
If they go up 3-1, then I think their chances of winning at
Monday,
home.
we're talking about
it's going to be over.
Nuggets winning the NBA Finals.
That's
but
why
we'll
tonight is a must-win for the Miami Heat.
I mean, another reason why I'm picking the Heat, I picked the Heat to win in 6. So if they win this game, I think the Nuggets close it out in the next 2, and we will see the Nuggets hopefully, well, at least for my pick, crowned NBA Finals champions. And Jokic gets his first ring. The Nuggets organization and franchise get their first ring in their history. But we will see. That'll wrap it up for...
wait, I got one more thing I want to talk about.
Go for it.
Okay, so we got an extra few minutes here.
9 minutes, yeah.
Before we're done. I'd just like to comment again on the Red Sox and how poor they are so far this year.
Have the floor.
And they have some good players. There's no doubt about it. But they do not have pitching. And you can't win without pitching. And you got to do something about the pitching. It's really poor, and you got to go have a talk with Devers. What the hell's wrong with him? He hasn't hit a home run since about a month ago. His batting average is down about 240. They just gave him a 10-year, $300 million contract. What's the story here, pal? You got to play better than this. And I liked a lot of their. The position players, except at first base, they can't seem to get anybody that plays well there. Now they've got Costa. What's his name? Casas. Casas. He's batting under 200, right? Every once in a while he hits a homer.
Oh, he's been 201. He got it up.
201. Wow. and this last series against Cleveland just shows that they are not going anywhere, right? They start the series winning. A nice game, 5-4. They came back from being behind, scored 4 runs in the 8th inning, gave up 2 in the 9th to Cleveland to make it close to 5-4, but they managed to win that game. And then the next game, they blow it to Cleveland. And then last night, because they didn't have anybody out there that could pitch, the Jose Ramirez comes out and hits 2 home runs. So Cleveland wins 2-1. They're better coached. And, they're a team that haven't played that well so far this year. You wait, they'll be a team to be reckoned with down the stretch, whereas the Red Sox, they're not going, I don't think they're going anywhere. They look just like the team they were last year. They got a team that occasionally can score a lot of runs, may have a nice winning streak for a little while, and then they fall apart, and it's because their pitching stinks.
Well, I have 2 pieces of news. One that you'll hate and one that I think you may agree with completely. Which one do you want to hear first?
Either one's fine.
No, which one do you want to hear first? The one
I think I'll hate. Yeah.
Chris Sale's on the 60-day IL.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me that much. This guy, he's...
diagnosed with a stress reaction in his left scapula.
60 days.
60-day IL. Originally, it was 15, and now got moved to 60.
He has not been able to stay healthy. His body, the way he's built and the way he delivers the ball, he's worn out. I mean, he's a long-term veteran now, and he's just his body can't take it anymore.
And the next piece of news is a lot of players, including one Yankee, believe that this Red Sox-Yankees insane rivalry over 100 years, give or take, it's now not meaningful anymore.
It's not meaningful anymore?
Because, quote, the Red Sox haven't been who they really are lately. And you know what? I agree with that. I mean, the rivalry was Boston, New York. The Boston Red Sox won the first World Series and been dominant throughout history. The Yankees, we know what they were throughout the 1900s. Now in the 2000s, they've had a lot of talent, couldn't get it done. The Red Sox are the opposite. They've had pretty good talent. I say not to the level the Yankees had with the amount of pitching they had. were able to get it done. You know, they were able to win many World Series, and they beat them a couple times in the playoffs.
Well, you know what? I've been a Red
and
Sox.
now it's the Yankees are really good. The Red Sox are nowhere near the same level they have been
I've
historically.
been a Red Sox fan for more than 60 years, okay? The Red Sox are what they say the Red Sox aren't what they usually been.
Haven't been what they really are lately.
Over 60 years, I would say, yes, they are. They're exactly what they used to been before, in between the time in the 2000s and what they were prior to that. Prior to that, they always had people that could hit. They always had hitters, right? You put a Red Sox uniform on, you can hit. Okay, they've got that. They never had any pitching, and now they don't. They've gone back to that. When they in the 2000s, they had some pitchers. They had Kurt Schilling. They had Pedro Martinez. They had some great relievers. They had Andrew Miller, right? They had
Josh Beckett.
They had Josh Beckett.
Clay Buchholz.
They had Clay Buchholz. They had in their relievers.
They had
Joe
Kelly. Joe Kelly.
They had Joe Kelly, right? Who else they have as a reliever?
Craig Kimbrell was good for them.
Craig Kimbrell, and who's the other guy? Used to change up in a fastball. That's all he threw.
Couldn't tell you.
I'm sorry, it will come to me.
What decade?
This was when they won in 2004.
2004.
Their closer.
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah.
2004 Red Sox. You want to know?
Their closer was.
I'll quickly bring it up for you. They had. They also had Jason Varitek, who was a pretty good.
Yeah, they could.
How can we forget Manny Ramirez and Johnny Damon?
Manny Ramirez, Johnny Damon, huh?
They had Nomar Garcia Parra.
Yeah, he wasn't there when they started winning championships.
He was in 04.
No, he wasn't. But they traded him in 04. He didn't finish the season with them.
Gotcha.
Falk is the guy. He was their closer back then. They had good pitching.
2013.
They had Mike Timlin, right? They had some good pitchers. They don't have that anymore. I don't know what they had Koji, right? They don't have that anymore. They're picking up these retreads, these guys you never heard of before that are coming out of the bullpen. They brought back
Corey Kluber, who's like 30 series. Like that's something I didn't understand.
He's in the bullpen. They got him. He's too late.
They had like what, a 6 ERA?
Why didn't they re-sign the guy that went to? Where did he go?
Was it Eduardo Rodriguez?
No, the guy was on Tampa Bay, and they picked him up for
David
1 year.
Price?
No.
Oh no, you said 1 year.
No. I can't think of his name. He's doing well this year, though. He used to pitch for the Cardinals, and I just can't think of his name. But they should have re-signed him.
Wait, talking Evaldi? They didn't sign him back. They should bring him back, though. Yeah. He's having a great year.
Is he really? Evaldi? Yeah, that figures. So that's their problem. I don't know why they didn't recognize it. This is the same team they had last year, and they aren't very good. They're very poor. They're just playing. Best they can do this year is 500 ball, which is about what they did last year. Actually, a little less than 500. Maybe they're just a little better. They have some good position players. I like Verdugo. I like Duvall, who's coming back now off the injured list. I don't like Jarren Duran. I don't know why they keep playing him. Yeah, Michael Walker. That's the guy they should have re-signed, right? I like the Japanese guy.
Yoshida.
He's having a very good year. They can't seem to organize around that and get winning because their pitching stinks.
Yeah. No, we saw it early on. I mean, they would score 7-8 runs, but the other team was scoring 8-9 runs.
Yeah, so I'm a disappointed Red Sox fan. I'm still watching because I'll always be a fan. But come on, be relevant. Just be relevant. You're in last place now in your division. You're hovering around 500. You got to do something.
Evaldi is 8-2 with a 2.24 ERA.
Wow.
Eduardo Rodriguez.
He's playing for the Texas, right?
Texas Rangers.
The Rangers they've won 40 games now.
That's crazy. They did lose Jacob deGrom to
that's not
Tommy
good.
John.
That's going to hurt him.
And Rodriguez, his record's not great. He's 4-4, but he's a 2.13 ERA, so he's giving up even fewer runs than.
Great pitching wins games in the major leagues, and I don't know why the Red Sox don't recognize that. You got to go out and get some.
His ERA is not great, but he does have a 6-2 record, so he's able to get wins.
Yeah. How many Red Sox starting pitchers have a winning record? Tanner Houck.
He's terrible. He has a losing record.
He's a losing record. Who else have they even got that
starts? He also
starts?
has a 5.46 ERA. Pivetta.
Yeah, what's he doing?
3-3. He's
3-3.
5.65
How about
ERA.
the young guy that they
Bello?
have? Bello, yeah.
He's 3-4 with a 4
3
ERA.
and 4. Yeah, Chris Sale, who's now on the 60-day DL.
5-2.
5-2. What? But now he's hurt. Yeah, he won't be back. Right. So, not good. Not good.
The occasional baseball talk is always great.
Yeah. Well, it's Yankees Red Sox this weekend, right?
They're playing right now, actually.
Yeah. What's the score?
Nothing. Bottom second.
Oh, wow. Who's pitching for the Red Sox?
Whitlock.
Whitlock.
One
yeah.
inning pitch, 2 strikeouts.
What's his record? He hasn't done that well this year so far.
Whitlock is. Can we see the season, please? He is. It won't give me a record.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good.
Let's see. I'll use Baseball Reference now. That's what I was doing before. Garrett Whitlock this season is 2-2 with a 5. Everyone has like over a 5 ERA.
5 ERA. Wow. Well, that will be good against the Yankees.
Hey, the Yankees they start off terrible. They were like almost. I think they were last in the division.
I do
for a
think
while.
the Yankees Red Sox series is still relevant. I do think it still gives me a little bit of a twinge when the Red Sox and Yankees are playing one another. Although the Red Sox have been terrible against them in the last few years. So
Can you
see.
guess the lowest starter, that the official starter? Because there's a guy here that has been starting, but he's not listed as a starting pitcher. The lowest starting pitcher ERA. Who do you think it goes
for the Red
to?
Sox?
For the Red Sox. I'll give you a hint. It was not a name that I listed before. So it wasn't Bello Houck.
It certainly isn't Corey Kluber, right? What's his ERA?
He is the second highest. Actually, right now, because they don't have Ryan Brazier anymore, he is the highest.
They got rid of him.
He has
finally.
a 7.13 ERA. He is 3-6.
That's awful. Terrible.
The lowest ERA that that the Red Sox have that is a starter is Carter Crawford at a 3.68. Officially listed as a starting pitcher.
He's not that good though. He's inconsistent. What's his record now?
1-3.
1-3. Thank you very much. Great job, Cutter.
The lowest the one that has starting pitcher next to the title is James Paxton, who has a winning record, 2-1 with a 3.81 ERA.
Yeah, well, he could be somebody that would help him out a little bit. You know, they waited a long time though for him to get off the injured reserve list.
Right.
To get back to them, they've had him for well over a year before they got him out there on the mound.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Looks like a long season for us Red Sox fans. It's going to be tough. Be nice to see him win a couple of games against the Yankees, but I'm not counting on it.
Was it a 4-game series?
Do you think Alex Cora's got something to worry about here?
Yeah.
You think he's going to be fired?
Oh, is it Chaim Bloom? He's gone. He's going to be gone next year. I guarantee. Here's the thing. Every GM for the Red Sox for the past 15, 20 years has had a 4-year stint each time.
Yeah.
So this was Bloom's 4th year. He's gone.
Yeah, well, he did terrible last year, and now he just recreated the same team he had last year.
Worse.
Yeah, that's worse.
He got rid of all the good pitchers.
Yeah.
Erod, gone. Evaldi, gone. Waka, gone.
Yeah, right.
Who was
Replaced by Corey Kluber.
who was like that 40-year-old that was on the Mets prior, who was on the Red Sox last year? Oh, what's his name? He's been around the league. He's like a 42-year-old. What is his name? I think he's still pitching. The Red Sox didn't pick. I
know.
Let's see if I can. Rich Hill.
Rich Hill, right? Is he still pitching?
Yeah, 5.5 with a 4.41 ERA.
Yeah.
Last year, he had an 8.7 record with a 4.27 ERA. Yeah. So he wasn't great, but he did have a winning
he didn't
record.
have very many good games, so I watched him pitch, and he was in trouble a lot. Yeah.
Here we go. Adam Duvall reinstated from the 60-day IL. There you go.
Maybe that will help.
A little bit of hope. Because before Duvall left, I think he was batting 4-something. So, once again, the hitting is there. Pitching,
is Bobby Dowback still on the team? I haven't heard of him.
He's in the minors.
He's back in the minors, yeah.
He's been in the minors all year.
I bet Jaron Duran's headed back there, too.
Well, actually, Duran is one of the better hitters on the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, but not in the clutch, though. Not in the clutch.
He's above Justin Turner. He's above Devers. Kike Hernandez is terrible.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He's batting a solid 229.
And he's playing terrible at shortstop, too. He's got lots of errors.
They don't have a shortstop.
No,
That's
they
the
need
problem.
Trevor Story to come back.
Shortstop.
Is Trevor Story coming back anytime
I haven't
soon?
heard any news about Trevor Story.
Yeah.
Duvall's the only one I've been hearing about.
Yeah.
Who, when he left, was batting 455 with 4 home runs in 8 games played. So it was a home run every other game.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Will it matter though? Like if Duvall comes back, will it even
Maybe
matter?
it will give him a spark. Maybe it would get Devers going. I don't know. What's wrong with him? I mean, he's the guy.
Devers batting 243. He still leads the Red Sox in home runs by 6. The next highest is a tie between Masataka Yoshida, Justin Turner, and Tristan Casas.
Yeah.
So there you go. Red Sox suck. What's new? All right, we're gonna wrap up this episode of the Harvey Hour here. My name's Nathan Harvey.
Still a fan.
Of course, that's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. Catch us Monday. We may be crowning a new NBA Finals champ maybe over the weekend. We will see.
We'll see.
But that will close it out. Make sure you tune in Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Bye-bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch.
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.